perfect. Then we're in the perfect position to start. So bringing your mini ball in between your thighs. You've got it. I'm going to start this way. Bringing your mini ball in between your thighs. You've got it just below your knees. We're going to bring ourselves onto our backs. So we've got our arms down in this low V position. Have the collarbone nice and wide. Excuse me. We're just going to tuck and tilt the tailbone a few times to find that neutral position with the pelvis. So neutral position, I can go through this more in another video, but it's where we're not tucking or tilting the tailbone. I've got light pressure onto the ball. I'm not squeezing onto the ball too hard, but I'm holding the ball with intention, making sure that I still feel nice and loose at the front of the hips here. So hands down that low V, heels roughly underneath the creases of your knees, and we're coming into a pelvic curl. So we breathe in. As you exhale, tuck the tailbone towards your nose, push into both feet evenly, and lift the hips up towards the ceiling. Inhale at the top here, and then exhale to bring the spine down one piece at a time. So if you don't have your mini ball, you'll just do this same move without the mini ball. Literally nothing changes. What the mini ball does is it helps to keep the legs in a parallel position. So it stops the thighs from falling out to the side or coming into the center. So if you don't have a mini ball between your thighs, you'll just have to be mindful of that as you keep moving. So exhale and bringing the spine down. Nice. We're going to go 3 more. Lifting the spine up piece by piece. Making sure here that all 10 toes are pushing into your mat as well. Try not to lift the toes off the mat. And exhale, coming down. Last 2. Don't worry too much about the breath pattern here. I always give a breath pattern as a suggestive breath pattern. More than anything, just try and feel through the movements and just remember to breathe in and out nice and evenly. Okay, on this last one, we're bringing the hips up and we're going to hold the hips up top. So pressure into the feet nice and evenly, all 10 toes pushing down. We're going to lift the arms up towards the ceiling whilst keeping the hips as high as we can. If you're feeling this in your lower back, drop the rib cage down a bit more, increase that incline. That might help take the pressure off the lower back. Shoulders connected to the floor. We're going to inhale, open the arms out to the side in a T position. Try not to bring the arms all the way down, hovering my hands just off the mat. And then exhale, bringing the hands back over the shoulders, 1. And then opening the arms out. Feel that stretch across the front of the body. For me, it's my biceps today. And exhale, lifting. The hands come just over the shoulders. Here's 3. And all the way up. And 4. I think we're going to try and do 5 of each move. Best I can count. Last one here, arms out to a T position. Trying to keep the height in the hips if you can, best you can. And then exhale, bringing the hands over the chest. Now take an inhale here. And then exhale, bring the spine down one piece at a time. Don't rush. Those hips come down very last. On to one of my favorite bits now. So we're going to take the ball out from between the legs. If you don't have the ball, you're just going to have your hips onto the floor. If you do have the ball, hips come up and you place the ball right underneath your bottom. So this ball isn't up on my lower back. It's right underneath my hips here. We've got the arms down that low V position. Just bring your awareness to the area between your shoulders and your elbows. So that upper arm portion of the arm. And then just make sure the collarbone is nice and wide. Again, we can tuck and tilt the tailbone a few times here on the mini ball. And then just find what feels like our neutral pelvis in this position. And before we get moving, just draw the rib cage down towards your body. So try not to let the rib cage push up to the ceiling. Drawing the rib cage down towards the back of your tops, your t-shirts. From here, right leg comes into your tabletop position. We want roughly thigh over the hip. Calf is parallel to the floor, shin parallel to the ceiling. Keeping the leg shape the same, we're going to tap the foot down to the floor 5 times. So 5. And back. This left knee is facing straight forward. 4. 3, both sides of the waist nice and evenly lengthened. 2. Last one. We're going to come all the way up, then bring the foot all the way down. Readjust the hips if you feel that they've become a bit uneven. Just find your evenness, find your control on the rib cage. Left leg comes up into your tabletop. Watch that right kneecap. Make sure it's facing straight forward. And we've got 5 taps here. So 5. 4. Notice that my pelvis is nice and still. It's not rocking backwards and forwards. It stays in this neutral. 2 more here. And 1 more. Bringing the foot all the way up and then bringing the foot all the way down. Now, one thing I love to do with the mini ball, by the way, just whilst we're here, is just this. Resting the back of my pelvis onto the mini ball. If you don't have one, I highly recommend investing in one. I've put a link into the description, but it really does help just to allow the lower back muscles to let go. As those of you who have tried with the mini ball are about to find out. So we lift the hips up high, take the mini ball out from out from underneath the hips, and just feel how that those lower back muscles feel as we lie and place those hips back down onto the floor. Often they feel a lot more loosened. You can get that just from lying on the mini ball. I'm not trying to do a hard sell here, just I love the mini balls, you can tell. Let's bring ourselves up to seated. Okay. Coming in for our spine twist. So options here. So those of you who've watched my videos before, you'd have seen me do spine twist in the past. You've got options here to bring the legs out to the side if that feels more comfortable for you. You can have the legs long if that's okay for your hamstring. So just make sure that you're not straining and you don't feel like you're really struggling to hold yourself upright. Legs together, feet are flexed if you can, shoulders away from ears. And the shoulders are right over your hips. So from here, I'm going to rotate to my right. Ball in line with the center of my chest. Hold here. You're going to reach the ball up overhead. Keep the shoulders away from the ears. Still in that rotation, you lower the ball back down and then you rotate back through center. Other side. So I'm twisting to my left here. I'm trying to keep both hips evenly weighted into the floor as I lift the arms up overhead. Arms come back down, chest stays lifted, and back through center. Keep going if you can. It's going to rotate here. Try not to lean back. Lift the ball up overhead, shoulders away from ears, and then bring the ball down, 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 back through center, and we're off to the left. As you bring the ball up overhead, try and see if you can bring your chest between your shoulders. I'm trying to reach my chest forward here. Arms come down. Into center. I'll show you on this side. So I rotate to my right. I lift the ball up overhead. And as I lift the ball, I'm trying to reach my chest proud through the center of my shoulder girdle. Arms down. Into center. We'll go one more time to the left. Lifting up. Lift the chest. Stay lifted through the spine. All the way down. And into center. Okay, from here, we're going into double leg stretch. So we're going to start with the ball between the ankles, bring ourselves down into lying down position. Make sure here that you've got space to bring the arms up overhead as well, because you're going to reach the arms long. Option 1 is to keep the head onto the floor at all times. Option 2, you can have the hand behind the head. And option 3, you're going to have the head unsupported. If you've got the ball, we're going to exchange the ball between hands and ankles. If you don't have the ball, you're just going to bring the legs straight out and arms straight out and back in again. We'll go together. So from here, let's hug the legs in towards the chest. If you're lifting the head up, we're going to lift the head up here. The height of the head stays consistent. On your inhale, you reach your arms and legs away from each other. The biceps come to roughly about the height of the ears. I'm going to exhale, bring my arms forward, take a hold of my ball, and then reach the arms overhead. Now my ball in hands. And then the ball comes back between ankles. And then we go. So you can just freestyle this. Like, do you want to switch between arms and legs? Or do you want to keep the ball just in arms or just between ankles? Or do you just want to try it without, because there's a lot going on in the first place. It's entirely up to you. And reach, 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 reach. Okay, I've definitely lost count. So we're going to go one more time with the arms. We're going to place the ball between the legs. Reach And hug legs in. If the head and chest is lifted, we're going to lower down here. Allow the head to relax. Let's just rotate the knees going in the same direction here. And then reverse going in the opposite direction. Okay. Coming on to our side series. So if you've got the ball, you're going to keep the ball between your ankles. We're going to lie ourselves onto our sides. So we've got the legs long here, line onto my bicep, palm facing up to the ceiling. And I'm reaching my legs long. If you don't have the ball, the legs will be together. The legs are slightly forward of your midline. The top arm is on the floor for your support, shoulder away from ears. It's important here that we keep the hips stacking. So try not to let that top hip roll back. Keep that top hip directly on top of your bottom hip. And again, we can think about a rib cage placement here. Draw the rib cage towards the back of your body. And off we go. We're going to exhale, push the bottom foot into the ball. So it's going to lift the legs up and lower. So what we're trying to do here is we lift and lower, is we're trying to keep the hips still stacking. So you want to be careful not to lift the legs and let that top hip roll back. Keep the top hip on top of the bottom hip. That's number 3. And we lift. And lower. Making sure that both legs feel fairly evenly lengthened. All right, this is definitely the last one. We're going to hold up top here. So just as high as you can lift your legs without letting that top hip roll back. And you're going to squeeze the ball 3 times. So I'm squeezing 3, 2, 1, and lower. If you don't have the ball, you can just hold the legs up and lower. Lifting, squeeze 3, 2, 1, lower down. 2 more, lifting, squeezing 3, 2, 1, down we come. And then last one, just the legs lifted. I don't want my arms doing it with me. And squeeze 3, 2, 1, and then both legs come back down. Same on the other side. So I'm just going to switch. I'm going to give it one of these. You can just, if you want to, flip over and look the other way. I don't think I can get away with having my back to the camera. So it wouldn't be very nice. So finding ourselves again, line onto our mat, onto our bicep, palm facing up. If this is difficult for your neck, by the way, do try and you can either have your hand here or even better, place a cushion there instead. But our hand is really here for our support. Shoulders away from the ears. Are we ready? We're going to lift the legs. 1. And we're down. And lifting 2. Top hip stacking on top of the bottom hip. 3. 4. I think we did 6 other sides, so just to be sure, I'll do 6. So 2 more. On this last one here, we're going to hold the legs lifted. Watch that top shoulder isn't creeping up. Ready? We squeeze the ball 3 times. 3, 2, 1, and lower. And lift. When you squeeze the ball, really try and connect as high up into your inner thighs as you can. So really squeezing from the hip adductors. So adductors, bringing the legs together. 1, 2, 3, and down. Ooh, we're going to do one more. Squeeze. 3, 2, 1, and all the way down. Brilliant. Well done. Let the ball just come out from between the ankles for now. Interesting transition. Let's hug the legs in towards the body here, just to release off and give ourselves a moment to reset. Not much more to go. We're on to our front. We're going to do our extension work. So line onto my front. I think this is the best way to do it. Yeah, for the recording. So we're going to be onto our front. If you don't have the ball, hands just onto the floor. If you have the ball adds a challenge here in that it challenges your stability of your base of support. So now this base of support is a bit more almost unpredictable. It's unstable. That's the word I want to use. Legs are together, kneecaps facing down, big toenails facing down. Slide the shoulders away from your ears. Now, you tell me, you're going to push into the ball to lift the head and chest only as high as you can stay out of your lower back. If you're pinching into your lower back, then you're kind of up too high, you need to come down lower. Keep the left hand onto the floor, right arm lifts, splay your fingers out wide, and I want you to watch that right hand as you bring your little finger in towards your right thigh. We're going to bring the arm all the way forward onto the ball. If you're lifted, we lower the head and chest. Slide the shoulders back away from your ears, lift the head and chest. Same side, right hand lifts, palm opens, watching the hand as you go back. And it's important that we watch because that's where we get our side bend of the spine. And down, that's 2. I'm going to count these. Here's 3. Just make sure you're breathing nice and evenly. Here's 4. I'd be interested to hear how everyone got on with the mini ball for those who tried with the mini ball. Here's the last one. And down. Same on the other side. So again, shoulders reset away from the ears. Just watch those legs haven't come apart. Again, bring the legs together if you can. And then lifting the head, chest, shoulders away from the ears. It's the left arm lifting. Now we splay the fingers away from each other. Reaching the arm. Little finger in towards the left thigh and arm comes forward. And all the way down. That's 1. And lifting. Moving at your own pace. Once you watch these videos a few times, you'll understand the moves more. You can slow it down if you need to as well. I'm just aware that this is going to be a short class. Okay, we've got 2 more this side. Pushing that right hand into the ball. Watching the hand as it goes back, forward, and down. And last one here. Open up those fingers, bringing the arm back, back, back. Arm comes forward and all the way down. Nice. Take the hands off the ball if they're on the ball. Take the hands off the ball to push yourself back into a rest position. Look after your lower back as you push yourself back here. Rest position is hips towards heels, knees together if you can. And then we get that nice rounding in the lower back. We're into the home stretch. Last piece. We're going into our thread the needle. So thread the needle with the ball. I've got my left hand onto the floor. The ball is pretty much aligned with in between my knees, so that's on the floor here. If you don't have the ball, you'll just place the hand onto the mat and come through. So my right hand comes out to the side. You don't need to rotate too far here. I would just take it to about here. Make sure that the rib cage is coming with you. Then you connect the back of your right hand to your ball or the floor, if that's what you're using, and you're just going to rotate all the way through. My left arm bends, and I'm using the ball to help my rotation. My rib cage is rotating as well, not just it's the whole rib cage rotating to the left. And then we unravel, 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 lift the arm out to the side. And again, here's 2. We're going to do 3 each side. I love these. Unravel, 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 and lift. Nice. One more time this side. Brilliant. Same on the other side. I'm going to stay facing this way because I have TikTok watching me there, and I wasn't just going to get a very interesting view if I change over. So we've got the ball in between the knees. Left arm now comes out to the side, rotate to here, connecting the back of the left hand to the ball and rotate through. If you can, try and keep the left arm as close to your right arm as possible and bring the weight of the body forward. That's going to get you more of the rotation higher up into the spine. And then derotate, derotate, arm out to the side, that's 1. And twisting through, here's 2. And all the way back onto the side. And here's the last one here. 3. And derotated. Let's just place both hands onto the floor. We don't need the ball at all for this next part, but last move here, we'll just do some cat stretches to finish off. So hands onto the floor, shoulders away from the ears, knees under hips, and round the spine up towards the ceiling. Head looking towards your thighs. And then unraveling, hold the hips nice and steady, but send your chest forward like you're trying to shine a light right out of the center of your chest. And again, rounding the spine up towards the ceiling. It's like you're trying to pull the front of your hips, or the front of your thighs, towards the head of your mat. And then reverse out. It's like trying to push the back of your thighs to the foot of your mat and then bringing the chest forward. We'll do one more and then we're all done. Last one here, rounding the spine up. Unraveling, sending the chest forward. Into your straight spine. And again, just to finish off, pushing the hips towards heels, either reaching the arms straight out in front of you or placing head onto hands underneath the forehead, whichever one feels more comfortable. And guess what? We are all done. So thank you so much for those of you who joined me live. Let me know how you got on if you used the mini ball. Let me know how it was for you without the mini ball as well. If this all worked very well, which I think it did, we will continue. We'll be doing every single Friday at 12:15. I'm on my mat around this time anyway, so I thought, why not have you all join me in that as well. So yeah, I'm interested to see how you all got on, and thank you so much for joining. Take care.